Get ready to enjoy our top harvesting videos from 2024. Have you ever seen these red fruits before? No, they are not raisins, although they do look alike. What you now see are dates, or the sweet and highly nutritious fruit that grows from these palm trees. They are rich in antioxidant compounds like polyphenols, which can help your heart health. In today's Lord Gizmo video, we will take a look at how they are harvested and manufactured into some of the most delicious jams. But before that, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more related videos. These rows and rows of trees will be examined by a worker or a farmer to see if the dates are ready for harvest. It's quite easy to spot a ripe date because they start turning from green to brown. Plus, ripe dates are also slightly soft to touch and will have a distinct texture. To start harvesting, the skilled workers of this farm will start operating this machine. It helps them reach the dates without using dangerous ladders. Then, they carefully hand-pick ripe bunches with minimal pressure to avoid damaging the delicate fruit. Although this can be done with the help of tree shakers, it is much gentler this way. After that, they will prepare the harvested dates for transportation. The moment they arrive at the processing facility, they will be met by workers that will carefully sort them. From these crates, the workers will unload the dates while some of them pre-sort it. They will gently remove dates that are either overripe or have damages to make sure only the high-quality ones get processed. Some of the workers are also assigned to sort them based on size. Of course, a large date cannot go with very small ones, because they will have different values and different processing time. Then they will be separated through these bins. These dates will be transported from one station to another using a conveyor belt. These conveyor belts are structured like this because it makes the whole process easier. Each of the conveyor belts carries different batches of dates depending on how they were sorted. After that, they will go through this chamber that sprinkles or sprays water. This is the cleaning station of the facility. They just allow the dates to go through these sprays without worrying because the water pressure is just enough to clean the dates. However, not everything can be seen by the naked eye, so this facility still subjects all of their dates to mechanical sorting before packing them. This machine uses a laser and a special program to detect the 3 different types of dates. Premium dates are those known for their larger size, softer texture, and richer, sweeter flavor. They are also the type of dates that are harvested at the right timing. Then, fancy dates are those that have good color and score 80 in the grading for dates compared to the 90 for premium ones. On the other hand, choice dates are those for processing and possess a reasonable quality. All of these can be detected by this smart machine. Cool, right? Now, the graded dates will be processed and divided into different lanes depending on which category they belong to. This conveyor belt is programmed to make the quality check easier as it is capable of seeing which dates are good to go. The dates that passed will be forwarded into this area where they are packaged into boxes. Different grades cater to different consumer preferences and price points. Even when they are already sorted and graded, the workers will still have a final look on them. If nothing is wrong, these boxes of dates will be sealed to maintain their freshness. Then, the box will be labeled as a preparation for transportation. Speaking of transportation, a different batch of dates are now subjected to a different process. This time, this will be held in a factory that makes date products like jams and pastes. The moment they gather the dates, they will immediately submerge them in water to start the washing process. After that, the clean dates will travel via this conveyor belt so that it can go through the removal of pits and debris. In this facility, they use a machine with shaking motion to remove the unwanted debris. This machine later on filters them and collects them for disposal. There are also some facilities that use blades, needles, or vacuum suction to automatically pit large quantities of dates. Pitted dates can be ground into a fine powder for use in baking, smoothies, or as a natural sweetener. Then, these dates will be up for the next step. The dates may occasionally be pre-dried in order to lower their moisture content, which would facilitate grinding and avoid clumping. Air drying, mechanical dehydration, or a mix of the two can be used to accomplish this. In this facility, the crushing or grinding of dates is facilitated by large machines. They use this one with a huge rotating roller that puts intense pressure on the dates. This machine also has a unique mechanism that makes separation of the waste materials possible. Depending on what the dates will be used for, they are usually grinded in this area. Batches of dates are fed into this large machine. They do it slowly to ensure that there will be no overflow or unnecessary waste. Then, they grind it into the type that they want to. Just like the previous machine, this also makes sure that the waste does not get mixed up with the actual product. There are also other uses of dates, especially in the field of cooking. Dates can also be processed into jams or paste, and this is how they do it. First, they wash the dates in a machine. Then, the workers of the facility remove the pits from the grapes. Although this can be done using a food processor with a pitting attachment, it is still better and safer to do it manually. After that, the dates will be placed inside this machine where they will be cut and cooked. This machine uses high levels of heat, so it is important that each worker practices caution while in this area. Once the jam is ready, they will proceed to packaging it. They will be stored in sterilized jars to make sure that its shelf life is extended and the quality is not affected. From the dusty fields to the bustling factories, we've explored the fascinating journey of dates. Next up, I'd love to take you on an incredible journey into the world of balsa wood harvesting. From towering lightweight trees to the amazing process that transforms them into versatile materials, it's a story you don't want to miss. Today, we're exploring the incredible journey of balsa wood. From a tiny seed to towering trees to the production line where it becomes everything from model planes to aerospace materials. Let's dive into this amazing process. It all starts with the soil. Balsa thrives in slightly acidic soil with a pH between 5.5 and 6.5. What we are looking at here is to see if the soil has good drainage and is rich in organic matter, as balsa wood doesn't do well in waterlogged conditions. Finally, test for nutrients, especially nitrogen, as it boosts the growth of balsa. Once we are satisfied, the fields are cleared for planting. Getting the ground ready for irrigation is key to growing healthy balsa wood. Map out the irrigation lines, ensuring they reach every corner of the planting zone. Balsa needs consistent moisture, so drip irrigation or soaker hoses work. Trenches have been dug to a few feet deep for main water lines. Finally, check for proper drainage, as balsa doesn't thrive in waterlogged soil. First, start by selecting high-quality seeds from a reputable source to maximize germination rates. Next, let's prepare the balsa seeds for nursing. This is a crucial first step in ensuring healthy growth. To encourage faster and more successful germination, soak the seeds in room temperature water for 24 hours. Prepare a well-draining seed starting mix, a blend of peat, perlite, and vermiculite. Next, fill small pots or trays with this mix, ensuring there's enough room for root development, and plant each seed about ½ an inch deep. Now, the key is consistent moisture. Water the seeds gently, keeping the soil damp but not waterlogged. Over-watering can rot the seeds, so check the moisture regularly. Next, balsa seeds love warmth, so keep them in a spot that maintains 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. You can use a heat mat if necessary to keep the temperature steady. Lighting is also crucial for growth. Place the pots in a bright, sunny greenhouse or under a grow light for about 12 to 16 hours a day. After 2 to 3 weeks, you'll start seeing seedlings. Once they reach about 6 to 8 inches, they'll be ready for the next stage. Now that the balsa trees have arrived at the planting site, it's time to get them in the ground. These young trees need to be planted quickly to ensure they don't dry out or suffer damage. You have two main options: planting by hand or using mechanical methods. Though, let's be honest, mechanical means are definitely the way to go for efficiency. Balsa trees should be planted 10 to 15 feet apart to allow for proper root development and air circulation. This spacing ensures that each tree has enough room to grow without competing for nutrients, sunlight, or water. Proper spacing also helps to promote healthy growth and reduce the risk of disease, ensuring the trees mature with strong, straight trunks that are ideal for harvesting. However, these trees look a bit tightly spaced to me. Let's get watering. Consistent watering is crucial during the first few years of a balsa tree's growth. Balsa trees are native to tropical environments, so they need a lot of water, especially in the early stages. Drip irrigation or soaker hoses work best because they provide steady, deep watering without oversaturating the soil. Avoid watering too frequently, as balsa trees don't tolerate waterlogged conditions. Keep the soil moist but not soggy, checking it regularly to adjust watering schedule depending on rainfall. Absolutely fascinating. Balsa trees are among the fastest growing in the world. They can reach 12 meters in just 1 year, 18 meters by their second year, and an impressive 29 meters after only 5 years. This rapid growth rate makes balsa an ideal resource for industries like model making, lightweight construction, and even wind turbine blades. It's incredible how nature can create something both so fast-growing and lightweight, yet incredibly strong. Time for pruning. It is essential to encourage strong growth and healthy structure. In the first year or two, focus on removing any dead, diseased, or broken branches to keep the tree healthy. As the tree grows, you can selectively prune to shape it, removing any branches that cross or crowd the center. This helps improve airflow and ensures the tree grows straight, which is important for later harvesting. Balsa trees are harvested at full maturity, typically between 6 to 10 years old, when they reach 60 to 90 feet in height and 12 to 18 inches in diameter. The trees are cut close to the base using chainsaws, and their lightweight, straight trunks make them easy to fell. After debranching, the trunks are sectioned for easier transport to a sawmill. Due to their high moisture content, the logs must be processed quickly to prevent decay or fungal growth. Once the balsa trees arrive at the mill, the real transformation begins. These logs are then sent to a peeling veneer machine, which is specially designed to transform them into ultra-thin sheets. The machine works by rotating the log while a sharp blade peels off a continuous sheet of wood, much like peeling an apple. This method is highly efficient, allowing for maximum use of the log with minimal waste. Once the balsa wood is peeled into sheets, the material is still wet and must be dried. The sheets are carefully moved to a kiln drying system, where they are slowly dried to reduce their moisture content to around 10 to 12%. This drying process ensures that the wood becomes lightweight, yet retains its strength. Balsa wood isn't just for thin sheets. This versatile material is also cut into planks and thicker sheets for use in a variety of industries. To create even stronger and thicker slabs of wood, multiple balsa sheets are glued together, forming solid blocks. These blocks are then cut into squares and, in some cases, glued together once more to increase strength and durability. This process results in lightweight yet sturdy sheets, perfect for industries like boat building, lightweight furniture, and wind turbine blades. After being cut and shaped, the wood is kiln dried to reduce moisture, further improving its structural integrity. The final product is ready for a range of uses, from construction and insulation to aerospace applications, where its strength-to-weight ratio is crucial. Balsa wood is incredibly easy to work with thanks to its lightweight structure and soft, porous texture. Its low density allows it to be easily cut, shaped, and sanded, making it ideal for projects that require precision without heavy-duty tools. Have you ever wondered what happens after a tree is felled in the forest? Let's take a deep dive into the fascinating journey of timber, from tree to final product. It all starts with felling large trees using powerful chainsaws or high-tech harvesters. These machines can take down massive trees in just minutes. After the tree is cut, it's delimbed, removing all the branches, and the trunk is sectioned into logs. These logs are then transported, either by trucks or trains, to the nearest sawmill, where the real transformation begins. Once the felled trees arrive at the mill, the first step is debarking. And it's a fascinating yet intense process. Massive logs are fed into machines equipped with terrifying blades that strip away the bark in seconds. These blades are designed to handle even the toughest trees, leaving behind smooth logs ready for the next stage of processing. But what happens to all that bark? It doesn't go to waste. Instead, the bark is collected and repurposed as bark mulch, a valuable byproduct used in landscaping and gardening. Bark mulch helps retain moisture, suppress weeds, and improve soil quality. After the logs are debarked, the real shaping begins. The logs go through a process called slab cutting, where they are cut down into rough shapes and the outer edge, known as jacket boards, are cut off. These cuts are the first steps toward turning the round log into a square board that can be used for construction, furniture, and more. But here's the cool part. Nothing gets wasted. The jacket boards that aren't used as final products are sent off to be shredded and repurposed. These shredded materials are turned into things like particle board, MDF, and even wood chips for various industries. What's left is a usable square log. This log is then cut into planks of various sizes depending on what they'll be used for. Did you know a mid-sized sawmill can typically process 150 to 500 trees per day? Larger industrial mills equipped with high-tech machinery and automated systems can handle upwards of 1,000 trees or more in a single day, ensuring efficient production of lumber for various industries. The journey doesn't stop there, though. These planks are sent to another area in the mill where they go through quality control. In this stage, each plank is carefully inspected for defects, ensuring only the highest quality wood moves forward. The planks are then further sanded and trimmed to smooth out rough edges and achieve the perfect finish. This attention to detail ensures that the wood is ready for everything from fine furniture to durable construction materials. Think Balsa is amazing. Just wait until you see the incredible things we can do with coconuts. In India, almost every ceremonial occasion is inaugurated with the breaking of a coconut. This is a famous Hindu ritual. But India is not alone where you see plenty of coconuts. Indonesia and the Philippines are the top producers of coconuts. Indonesia produces 17.13 million metric tons of coconut every year. The Philippines produces 14.77 million metric tons, a bit more than the annual production of coconuts in India. These three countries produce 73% of the coconut. Globally, it is a $12.03 billion business, and by 2030, it will reach $19.38 billion. Yet, this is all about raw coconut. Coconut is widely utilized to produce various products, for example, cosmetics, medicines, etc. The husk of the coconut is a traditional raw material used to make ropes, nets, coarse fabrics, and coir. In this video, you will watch how millions of coconuts are produced and harvested. How are different products made from coconut, and what are some of the products made out of its husk that you might never have seen before? What are the challenges to the coconut industry? And how does this auspicious fruit change the lives of many? Let's find out. But before that, make sure to subscribe to this channel for such informative content. In recent years, coconut demand in the West has increased significantly. Imports of coconut in the US alone have spiked nearly 30% since 2018. Companies are selling it as a superfood and launching new coconut products to target the masses. But these countries in the tropics are already selling most of their coconut. To meet the rising demand, they have to grow more coconut trees. Coconut production is not easy as well. A coconut tree typically takes 3 to 6 years to start flowering. Furthermore, a coconut takes 9 months to develop and drop off the tree. Moreover, a mature coconut tree can produce 30 or more coconuts per year in ideal conditions. With correct planting, watering, and care, a coconut tree can reach full maturity and maximum yield in 15 years. There are mainly two types of coconut plants, dwarf and tall coconuts. A dwarf coconut, however, can be as tall as a tall coconut. The terms dwarf and tall refer to the size at which it will begin to produce the coveted or harvestable coconut. Preparing a new seed from both dwarf and tall coconuts is known as hybridization. Nowadays, many planters rely on this method to enhance the yield and speed up the growth of coconuts. It involves taking flowers from the male plant and transferring them to the female plant buttons when they are receptive. Interestingly, a coconut tree has both male flowers and female buttons on the same inflorescence. Male flowers are removed to prepare the tree for reproduction. This process is known as emasculation. The workers also engrave the date of emasculation on the tree for record. For the next 3 weeks, an expert will regularly check this plant. At this time, a little drop of nectar will appear on the female buttons. This indicates the female buttons are now mature enough to pollinate. Companies like DJ process the pollen from special tall trees and supply it to the farmers. To pollinate the ready female buttons, farmers gently apply pollen with a brush. After 120 days, they will check how many buttons are left. Typically, 20% of these are left on a coconut tree, out of which 90% of the yield grows into fresh coconuts. These newly grown coconuts are not for eating. Instead, the nurseryman will keep them in nurseries as seed nuts. The nurseryman shakes the coconut to find out whether it has the right amount of water or not. At the right stage, this seed nut goes for planting in the nursery beds. Germination often starts after a month, but it takes 6 months for a baby plant to grow up to 2.5 feet tall. Now, coconut plants are ready to be sold to customers. These hybrids from DJ Sampurna will start in only 4 years, which will save 3 years of time compared to typical coconut plants. Here, fresh coconuts are ready to be harvested. Harvesting them requires meticulous scheduling to achieve ideal maturity. It maintains desirable taste and nutritional attributes. However, obtaining coconuts from a tall tree is a challenge in itself. These days, we have robots and machines to pluck fruits from trees. Still, coconut growers rely on conventional methods. One straightforward method to harvest coconut is climbing. It is an easy way, but it is also a risky job. These climbers climb over trees without any safety tools. Falling from a 100-foot tall tree would cause severe damage. Sometimes they tie husk rope to the tree trunk, and sometimes they make small cuts to climb over. Foot spikes are also used to climb over. Climbers make sure they pluck the ripened fruit from the tree. One of the easiest methods of harvesting coconut is the pole method. A long bamboo stick is used to make coconuts fall, but this requires expertise and precautions. A direct hit of the coconut on the head can be deadly. According to research conducted by the Australian Institute of Marine Science, around 150 people lose their lives each year due to coconuts falling. A hydraulic elevator is one of the better ways of harvesting coconuts. Like pole methods, workers use sticks with nails on their ends to collect coconuts. They poke each coconut and throw it in their back baskets. Apparently, this truck is ready to transport a coconut plant for further processing. Since most coconut trees grow in subtropical coastal regions, the water channels play an important role in the growth and transportation of coconuts. This water canal has been made specifically for watering coconuts. They use a special boat with pumps that throw pumps onto the coconut trees. Also, the ready coconuts are deliberately fallen into the water to prevent them from bumping. Likewise, large boats are used on water channels to transport the harvest in bulk. But these boats are away from the field. Therefore, trucks take the harvest to these boats. Workers also check the quality of the coconuts before loading the truck. Being the largest coconut producer, Indonesia transports millions of coconuts through these waterways. The coconuts that do not meet the standard will be used as fertilizer. Some factories have a special port facility to receive these coconuts directly from the laden boats. Sambu Group is one of them. The company has installed special equipment to unload the loaded boats. But this is not the case everywhere. This viral video from a port depicts a worrying situation in Bangladesh. Through a chain of running conveyor belts, the fruit goes into the facility. Then, a team of workers removes the outer part of the coconut, which contains hair-like fabric. This part is known as the husk of the coconut, and that's why the process of its removal is called dehusking. Older methods of removing husks are still employed in some countries. These methods are prevalent in traditional localities in Southeast Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean. They use machetes to remove the fibrous husk from coconuts. Because coconut production has exceeded 62 million metric tons per year globally, managing its husk has become an environmental concern. However, many products can be made from this inedible part of the coconut. Sambu Group is using it as a fuel for its power plant. Husk charcoal emits relatively little CO2, and it is the finest biofuel. Moreover, coconut husks can be used to make a variety of different products, such as husk ropes, mats, and peat. First, the husk is crushed and filtered to separate the fiber and the rest of the material. The fibrous material is known as coir, whereas the rest of the material that binds the fiber is called pith. These workers collect the coir into piles before sending it to the twine-making process. First, a carding machine processes the fiber. Then, various spinning wheels and tools twist the fiber to transform it into a thick yarn. More than one yarn is further twisted together to form a rope. The coconut rope is complete. However, it can be improved further. These workers are weaving the new coir rope to make a mat from it. They use a unique device known as a loom. It functions as a frame to hold the weft threads, making mat weaving easy. In the Philippines, where farmers burn most of the husk to get rid of it, a company discovered an interesting use for coconut coir. They use it as an insulation material for making picnic coolers. They call it the nutshell cooler. It can keep things cold for 48 hours. India has taken the use of coir to the next level. The National Rural Roads Development Agency of India used coir geotextiles in rural road construction. The coir fabric is laid above the subgrade after the compaction. With reinforcing and drainage characteristics, it acts as a physical separation layer between the aggregate and the subgrade soil. Moreover, this biodegradable material can last for 5 years, and it costs little compared to other road construction materials. This is why they consider it best to build roads around the village.
The use of the coir geotextile in the road construction, then it will have a lot of indirect benefits, not only for the road construction but other benefits also. Now, if you use the coir geotextile in road construction, it can be provided at anywhere in the structure of the pavement, but generally it is preferred to provide above the subgrade. And if it is provided above the subgrade, it will act as a reinforcing material. It will also act as a drainage material. So it will perform many functions in addition to these two, and thus enhance the life of the pavement.
Correctly placing the coir mat is not as easy as it looks. Workers have to take care of mat folding, especially on road turns. Once perfectly laid, the mat is clamped and all the laid rolls are mounted together. Next, workers and machines together place building material over the coir mat to prepare the subbase of the road. Then, rollers give the road 100% compaction. Lastly, the pavement of the road begins, which will be completed in 2 stages. The first layer of gravel is placed and filled with a special earth material, and in the last stage, grade 3, gravel is laid and filled, and bitumen is used this time. Similar to coconut coir, the leftover husk chips are not discarded as waste. Instead, husk chips are reduced to powder size by chopping, grinding, and crushing. After that, they add sufficient water to make it a fluffy solution and leave it to dry for days. The dried material is called cocoa peat. After blending cocoa peat and husk chips in the required proportion, the resultant material is compressed to transform the mixed material into cocoa peat blocks. These peat blocks provide higher air porosity for plants and help them grow faster. Besides blocks, cocoa peat can be transformed into various shapes, such as rectangular bricks, round pallets, and long slabs. Cocoa peat grow slabs are quite popular among tomato, cucumber, pepper, herb, and cannabis growers. Multiple tests are conducted during the production of these slabs to ensure they possess the appropriate bulk density, porosity, water holding capacity, and expansion volume. The grow slabs come wrapped in a plastic or biodegradable film that protects them from moisture loss and fungal growth. These are shipped to the growers, who rehydrate them with water before use. The grow slabs are suitable for cultivating on tabletops in glasshouses, hydroponic greenhouses, and polytunnel growing systems. Next to the husk of a coconut is the shell. It is relatively harder. The workers remove it by peeling it off. Removal of this part is known as deshelling. Any penetration could result in the loss of coconut water. This is why some companies prefer drilling coconut before deshelling and even dehusking. Surprisingly, there is also a way to make a profit from the coconut shell. Coconut shells have perfect characteristics for making charcoal from it. This is the special kiln in which charcoal is made. The coconut shells are dried before being loaded onto the kiln. Then they ignite the shells from the bottom. The next batch of shells is loaded onto the kiln after a large fire. After that, the kiln operator closes the door and seals it with a mixture of clay and ash. This process is repeated again and again until the kiln is fully filled. Following that, the worker seals the top feeder and covers it with clay and ash. The same is done for all air inlets to prevent fresh air from entering the kiln. In a tube at the back of the kiln, wood vinegar and tar flow. For 24 hours, the kiln is left in this state and then opened to harvest coconut charcoal. This kiln can make 150 kilograms of charcoal, and it has a mere 30% yield compared to the total amount of coconut shells fed. Yet, the charcoal is not ready. It needs to be ground into a fine powder for further processing. The powdered charcoal is then mixed with a binding material. Generally, 100 grams of starch is enough to serve the purpose. Water is also added while mixing the material. Now that the mixture is ready, it is time to transform it into briquettes. Coconut water is an excellent source of hydration. It contains high levels of electrolytes, making it perfect for rehydrating athletes. Moreover, coconut water is rich in vitamins. It is known for blood pressure control, improving digestive health, and kidney stone prevention. Vitamins. For manufacturing factory products, they go into the processing unit. The coconut water is first filtered to remove any debris or impurities. Then, the filtered coconut water is pasteurized using thermal processing to inactivate enzymes and kill any microorganisms present. B-Trimex uses a combination of heat treatment and rapid cooling to preserve the natural flavor and nutrients of the coconut water. The packaged coconut water is stored under refrigeration to maintain its freshness and quality. Regular testing is necessary to monitor the microbiological, chemical, and sensory properties of the coconut water. After removing the husk, shell, and water, what we have now is the white coconut meat. Some people call it the kernel of a coconut. Navik Mills Company produces coconut milk from coconut meat. First of all, the coconut meat or kernel is washed with water to make sure that no part of the shell gets in with the meat. Next, the coconut meat is reduced to flakes using various machines. Lastly, it is mechanically pressed by soaking shredded coconut in boiling water and then straining off the solid pulp. We get coconut milk. The amount of fat and oil in the final product can be managed. It is done by controlling the amount of water introduced to the flakes during the extraction process. Some companies also add stabilizers to their products. If you don't know what stabilizers do, they prevent the liquid molecules from clumping together or separating. As a result, the heavy ingredient does not fall to the bottom, and you see a perfect milk-colored liquid. Coconut cream is similar to coconut milk, except it is created from squeezed coconut kernels and has more fat and a little quantity of water. Next, the extracted coconut milk and cream are pasteurized using heat treatment to extend their shelf life and ensure food safety. Here, the packaging of the pasteurized milk and cream is under process. Machines aseptically package the coconut products in sterile containers to prevent any contamination. The residual left after squeezing milk is not wasted, but it can be further processed to make coconut flour. The dried coconut pulp is ground into a fine powder. It is a gluten-free, high-fiber flour, and you can use it for baking brownies, layer cakes, and many other things. The coconut flour has a moderate coconut flavor. Desiccated coconut is also produced from coconut. It looks similar to flour, but is completely different. Unlike coconut flour, it is manufactured directly from dry grated coconut meat. The ground coconut is then sieved to remove any unwanted particles and achieve the desired particle size. This product is also used in baking or as a topping material for desserts. It contains 55% fat. Interestingly, coconuts have the highest oil content among all oilseeds. Moreover, drying it off will decrease moisture content, resulting in a 70% oil increase in the coconut meat. This is why coconut companies prefer mature coconuts for the production of oil. Coconut oil has a wide range of applications beyond cooking. At an industrial scale, companies use it in making skincare and hair care, as well as a natural alternative to typical household cleaning products. The dried coconut, in the form of flakes, is pressed to extract the oil, which then goes through a filtration process to eliminate any impurities. The extracted oil then goes through a settling process. It separates any remaining solids. If desired, the oil can be further refined to remove any remaining impurities and unwanted flavors. As we said before, coconut can be used in a million ways, but the Indonesian government is interested in producing biojet fuel from coconuts. According to Reuters, Indonesia conducted test flights using jet fuel partially from palm oil in 2019. In 2023, Indonesia flew its first commercial flight using palm oil blended jet fuel. It was a Boeing 737-800NG aircraft with more than 100 passengers, and it flew a total distance of 550 kilometers, or 342 miles. Coconut is also a member of the palm tree family. This new use of coconut oil will solve another problem for Indonesia and other coconut-producing countries. Around 20 to 30% is not considered appropriate for edible products, and it remains unused as waste. These unused coconuts can help Indonesia increase its biofuel production by 7%. Coconut farmers do not have any interest in it because they have their own problems to worry about. The foremost issue is climate change. Major coconut producers, including Sri Lanka, India, and other Southeast Asian countries, are already struggling with the devastating effects of global warming. High temperatures above 40 degrees centigrade can severely impact coconut production by reducing pollen germination and nut set. Over 60% of coconut is grown under rain-fed conditions. Climate change is changing precipitation patterns, resulting in both droughts and excessive rainfall. It has a considerable impact on yields. This severity will impact the lives of thousands of coconut farmers and workers associated with the coconut business. For most of them, it is not just a business but a lifeline for rural economies. Moreover, farmers earn very little as compared to the wealth they generate by growing coconuts. In Sri Lanka, coconut farmers earn only $5 or less a day, even less than the average salary in the country. To compensate for this, some companies provide extra benefits to their farmers and workers. For example, Navik Mills pays school fees for their workers' children, but this is clearly not enough. This 50 mm bug, known as the Oryctes rhinoceros or coconut rhinoceros beetle, is a major threat to coconut farmers worldwide.
It feeds in a coconut tree right at the crown, and that will be the area where the coconut leaves or fronds attach to the coconut tree. The rhino beetle will burrow in using its legs as well as its horn and feed on the coconut sap for approximately 2 to 3 days.
It attacks a palm at the base of its fronds. This attack severely damages the coconut trees and sometimes even becomes the reason for their demise.
Just looking at the head capsule, it's about 9.5 to 12 millimeters, the biggest.
There are chemical solutions available to kill this insect, but many farmers believe that their use also harms the tree. Perhaps this is why hand-picking beetles from the axils of palms is practiced in Indonesia. Using a pheromone trap is another solution to this problem. These boxes can control, track, and assess the frequency of virus infections. About 2,330 miles away in the east of Indonesia, there is an island known as Guam. There is a special kind of tree snake. It indirectly supports the coconut rhinoceros beetles. Experts believe that this snake is the reason for the low quantity of birds and rats on the island and also for more rhinoceros. These beetles start their colonies on dead-standing coconut and other palm trees. In 2023, the government of another island nation, Marshall Islands, decided to curtail the spread of these beetles. But this is not all. Coconut trees are vulnerable to many other insects and diseases. Their growers confront unprecedented hurdles in meeting the growing demand for this fruit. You learned how many ways coconuts are used. It is nutrient-rich, environment-friendly, and one of the most beneficial fruits on Earth. We hope both the coconut and its growers will survive the rigorous challenges of the time. But let's not stop there. Next, we're diving into the fascinating process of how sugar is made, from harvesting sugarcane to the sweet granules on your table. Sugar. It is the sweetest food item on Earth. Almost every dessert we eat has some kind of sugar. We produce enormous amounts of sugar and consume it like zombies. Take the United States alone. Its citizens eat 17 teaspoons or 71 grams of sugar every day. This is 3 times more than the recommended amount. If we consider that half of the American population eats the same amount of sugar, it means they consume 11,786 metric tons in just one day. From 2022 to 2023, the world produced 177 million metric tons sugar. Today, the largest producer of sugar is Brazil. It produces 46.9 million metric tons of sugarcane in a year. India is the largest sugar producer. The country yields 33.1 million metric tons. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, both of these countries produce 44% of the world's sugar. And in terms of money, the global value of sugar is $78.1 billion. Coming up next, you will watch the step-by-step process of growing sugarcane. How are various products made from sugarcane, including brown sugar, refined sugar, jaggery, and ethanol? What are the uses of bagasse? You will also watch the manufacturing process of 6-color M&M's candies. To cultivate sugarcane, the first essential step is obtaining its seed. This involves cutting a sugarcane stem into segments, each measuring approximately 12 to 18 inches long, ensuring that each piece contains 3 to 4 buds. However, the process of preparing the seeds for planting is far more intricate and involves several key stages. The journey begins in the research phase, where scientists conduct in-depth analyses of various sugarcane varieties. In laboratories, they examine the DNA of each variety and perform chemical tests to assess their unique characteristics. This rigorous evaluation helps identify the most promising candidates for cultivation. Once a potential variety is selected, It moves to the primary nursery stage. Here, heat-treated seedlings are planted and closely monitored by agricultural experts. This phase typically lasts between 6 to 8 months. During this time, the seedlings are evaluated for their resilience against pests, adaptability to environmental conditions, and overall quality. After the primary nursery, the chosen variety progresses to the secondary nursery, which also spans approximately 6 months. In this stage, the seedlings continue to grow and are further tested to ensure they meet the necessary standards for commercial cultivation. Finally, the seedlings harvested from the secondary nursery are prepared for distribution. Farmers can then purchase these high-quality seeds for commercial planting. This entire process, from researching new varieties to nurturing and preparing seeds, is a continuous cycle aimed at improving sugarcane production. The seed is ready now, yet it can't be planted in soil. The soil needs to be prepared first. Sugarcane belongs to the grass family, and it can remain in the soil as a ratoon crop. This means that sugarcane, akin to grass, regenerates new shoots, which the farmers can harvest in subsequent seasons. A once-sown sugarcane crop can yield harvest 3 to 10 times, depending on the environmental conditions, variety type, and many other factors. For this reason, farmers prepare the soil for sugarcane for extended periods. The first step is to plow the field 2 to 4 times to a depth of 20 to 23 inches using a tractor-drawn plow. This breaks up the soil and previous crop leftovers, which are necessary for nitrogen cycling. To further break down clods and smooth the ground surface, which helps create a good seedbed, harrowing is done at a shallow depth after plowing. Leveling the land will help to guarantee consistent crop development and ease watering. Before the final plowing, organic manures such as farmyard manure are applied at 12.5 tons per hectare or compost at 25 tons per hectare. You can also add superphosphate to phosphorus-starved soils. You can manually plant sugarcane by hand, but for planting it on a large scale, planters are used. While farmers can plant sugarcane in furrows and on flatbeds, experts believe trench planting is the most effective method. Farmers create trenches that are 10 inches deep and 27 inches wide, and then plant sugarcane sets end to end in these trenches, ensuring better moisture retention and drainage. Sugarcane grows best in soil with a pH of 6 to 6.5, a temperature of 32 degrees Celsius, and 8 hours of sunlight. So, in regions with cool winters, late summer and early fall are the optimum times. Germination starts within a month. The third day after the plantation, herbicides are sprayed over the field. It helps reduce the growth of any unwanted plants or weeds. For post-emergence control, glyphosate can be sprayed about 21 days after planting. Additionally, insecticides like chlorpyrifos can be sprayed to manage pests like the early shoot borer, typically starting around 4 months after planting. Fertilizers are applied to sugarcane from the start of planting through the entire growth cycle, but not during the ripening period. The optimal amount of fertilizer varies greatly depending on soil types, climatic conditions, and the type and length of the growing cycle. For such spraying operations, the Uniport 2030 is the perfect choice. It has a 2,000-liter tank, and it is capable of spraying up to 190 liters per minute. It can also reach heights up to 1.9 meters to make sure each of the sugarcanes is covered. Sugarcane needs 80 to 90 inches of water per plant throughout the growing season to provide maximum yield. When precipitation is insufficient, irrigation, either spraying or placing water in furrows, may make up the difference. Some farmers use drip irrigation systems to irrigate their cane crops. Depending on the variety type, place, and all other factors, the sugarcane crop matures to harvest in 8 to 18 months. Just a few days before the harvest, farmers set fire to sugarcane fields. This is done primarily to burn the dried leaves that accumulate around the sugarcane. These dried leaves can lead to a higher percentage of tear during the harvest season. For this reason, farmers attempt to burn these leaves using controlled fires. Dry leaves also cause accidental fires. But despite all that, burning sugarcane is not a sustainable solution. On the contrary, it is a major concern for the environment, causing air pollution and respiratory problems in nearby communities. Many countries have banned the burning of fields, but it is still practiced in some parts of the world. Florida farmers are notorious for burning their fields and generating smoky clouds. One of the biggest reasons is that this burning method is very cheap and reduces a lot of labor while harvesting the crop. But despite all that, after burning, we have left the fully ripened canes, and it is time to harvest them. For centuries, people have been harvesting sugarcane by hand. For many agriculture field workers, this work is a seasonal opportunity to earn money. Before beginning their work, they do the stretching exercises. Following that, they start cutting the canes with their machetes. They pile them up on the ground so a loader machine can load them into the truck. Likewise, there are harvesters available to harvest sugarcane crops. Mechanized harvesting eliminates the need to burn sugarcane straw. The machine separates the straw from the cane and leaves it on the ground as mulch. This left mulch prevents the land from erosion and enhances its fertility. The cane is cut and dumped in a vehicle that moves alongside the harvester. Currently, John Deere 960 is the largest sugarcane harvester. It can harvest 140 to 150 tons per hour, or up to 1,300 tons per day. For muddy sugarcane fields, they opt for harvesters mounted on tracks because those on wheels have a higher risk of getting stuck in the muck. Once all of the cane is gathered and batch-tied, it will be sent to a neighboring raw sugar factory. A high-capacity vehicle, such as this 26-ton cane rail loco, is required to transport tons of sugarcane in one go. This specific locomotive is used by Wilmar Sugar Australia, allowing them to transfer freshly harvested sugarcane quickly. Wilmar Sugar is Australia's largest sugar producer, and its annual sugar production accounts for about half of Australia's sugar production. The company owns 8 sugar mills, which are located in Queensland. There, the crushing season starts in June and runs for 5 months. In this time, approximately 15 million tons of sugarcane are harvested. Each cane bin is weighed by the mill weighbridge and farm statistics are recorded. Next, the tippler places the cane on a conveyor belt, which is then shredded by a machine. The shredded cane goes through a series of mills. These mills crush it to separate the sugar juice from the fiber. Juice obtained from different farms is sampled separately and analyzed in an on-site laboratory to determine its sugar content. The sugar juice is heated and pushed into a clarifier where contaminants settle and are removed. The clear juice is transferred to the evaporators where it is cooked under vacuum until it thickens to the viscosity of golden syrup. After that, the liquor is sent to the pan stage, where it is further concentrated by vacuum boiling. The syrup is seeded with small sugar crystals, a process known as crystallization. Once the crystals reach 1 millimeter in size, the thick syrup and sugar mixture, known as masecuate, is discharged and sent to centrifugals for separation of molasses and sugar crystals. Raw sugar is tumbled in an outro dryer before being stored on site for a short time. It is then transported to the nearest shipping port by train or truck. At the port, mountains of raw sugar are stored in specialized sheds before shipping to global markets. In Mackay, Queensland, there is Australia's biggest and most modern sugar refinery. It produces a variety of refined and specialty sugars under the legendary CSR Sugar brand. The Racecourse refinery processes about 300,000 tons of white sugar, 20,000 tons of specialty sugars, and around 12,000 tons of molasses annually. The raw sugar contains 96% sucrose content, and its color ranges from off-white to brown. On the other hand, the refined sugar contains 99% sucrose content and has a white crystalline color. This requires additional processing. The raw sugar is transported to the refinery. It is tipped into an automated unloading hopper attached to a 1,000-ton storage bin by conveyor belt. In the refining process, raw sugar is mixed with hot, concentrated syrup known as raw wash. This mixture, known as magma, its density is carefully controlled before being spun at high speeds in a centrifuge. As the crystals separate, hot water is sprayed onto the magma, forcing the syrup and impurities through tiny holes in the screen. This method can remove around 30% of the color from raw sugar crystals. Melted liquor is created by dissolving a fine raw sugar in boiling water at 80 degrees. This liquor contains around 65% sugar. The liquor passes through a coarse screen, which removes large particles. The next process is phosphatation. The process involves adding lime and food-grade phosphoric acid to the melter liquor. Fine air bubbles and a flocculant help bind impurities and float them to the clarifier vessel's surface. And this floating layer is known as scum. Once the scum removed, there lefts the clarified liquor. The clarifying phase is crucial to the refining process. This is where the majority of contaminants are eliminated from the liquor stream. Next, the clarifying liquor is further heated. It then passes through sand and gravel filters before going to the activated carbon columns. This stage removes the majority of the color from the liquor, similar to a fish tank filter. The refinery lab regularly monitors many factors, including liquor color. Based on lab findings, modest modifications are made to factory settings to maintain consistent product quality and adherence to specifications. Next, massa cuite, the thick sugar liquid, is spun at 1,000 revolutions per minute. This separates the syrup from the mixture. The amount of wash water used during the spin cycle impacts the color of the sugar crystals. The syrup is either returned to the pans to make additional sugar or used to manufacture CSR-branded raw sugar, caster sugar, coffee sugar, or demerara sugar. The food-grade sugar manufacturing process is almost complete. To eliminate extra moisture, the sugar crystals are passed through a big rotating dryer. The dried sugar is subsequently air-conditioned and dehumidified in a 3,000-ton conditioning silo. It remains there for 24-36 hours. Lastly, the refined sugar is sent 13 kilometers to the Mackay port terminal for packaging and distribution. Sugar is not the only thing that can be produced from sugarcane juice. It can also be used to make ethanol, which is used as a fuel in vehicles. Sugarcane juice undergoes a fermentation and distillation process to produce ethanol. Initially, the juice is purified using various filtering methods until it is ready for fermentation, where it is mixed with yeast to create a liquid known as fermented wine. The alcohol in this wine is then recovered through distillation and rectification columns, resulting in hydrous ethanol, which is suitable for use in flex fuel vehicles in Brazil. To produce anhydrous ethanol, which is mixed with gasoline, the liquid undergoes an additional dehydration stage to remove excess water. The entire process, from the arrival of the sugarcane at the mill to the final product, takes approximately 15 hours. Each ton of sugarcane yields about 85 liters of ethanol. Brazil is a major player in the global ethanol market, producing over 30% of the world's ethanol and ranking as the top exporter and second largest producer of this biofuel, following the United States. Despite being the world's largest ethanol exporter, Brazil consumes approximately 80% of its ethanol production domestically. Once produced, ethanol is stored in large tanks until it is sold. Various transportation methods are used to distribute ethanol within Brazil, including railways, barges, and pipelines, but the most common method is by truck. Pure hydrated ethanol powers flex fuel vehicles, while gasoline-powered vehicles blend anhydrous ethanol with gasoline. Jaggery is a traditional product made from sugarcane juice. It is very popular in India. The process of making jaggery involves crushing sugarcane to extract the juice. The juice is then filtered and boiled in shallow iron pans. During the boiling process of jaggery production, chemical bleaching agents or natural vegetable items are added to purify the juice, while extraneous matter is continuously removed to achieve a bright golden color. After boiling, they allow the juice to cool in iron or aluminum pots, where it solidifies into jaggery blocks. The molds used for shaping the blocks are specifically sized based on the desired weight. Once formed, the jaggery blocks are packed in jute cloth and prepared for dispatch. The yield rate for jaggery is approximately 10%, implying that they produce about 10 kilos of jaggery from 100 kilog of sugarcane. The fibrous waste left behind from crushed sugarcane is called bagasse. About 250 kilos of bagasse is produced from 1 ton of sugarcane. From its storage facility to boilers, a system of conveyor belts moves the bagasse so it can produce steam. This steam powers turbines and generates electricity. Modern, technology-equipped control centers monitor mill output, consumption, or power export. Every Brazilian mill is self-sufficient in energy, producing more than enough electricity to meet their own demands. An increasing number of mills are also producing extra electricity, which they sell to power companies and use to light numerous towns throughout Brazil. In 2022, Brazil produced approximately 32 terawatt-hours of electricity from sugarcane bagasse, which accounted for 4.76% of the country's total electricity mix. M&M's candies are among the most famous products made from sugar. According to the Environmental Working Group, each candy of the M&M chocolate milk candy contains 64% sugar by weight. To make M&Ms, they begin with the chocolate making process, where they combine key ingredients such as milk, chocolate liqueur, cocoa butter, and sugars to create a chocolate paste. They refine this paste into a powder and mix it with additional cocoa butter to create the final chocolate for M&Ms. Next, they shape the chocolate into M&M forms and roll them through a screen, allowing the shaped chocolates to emerge at the other end. In the final phase, they coat the chocolates by rolling them in a pan, where they evaporate moisture to create the signature sugar shell that gives M&Ms their colorful appearance. The packaging room receives the completed M&Ms, weighs them, and distributes them into individual bags of specific sizes. Mars, the manufacturer of these candies, produces approximately 2 billion M&Ms every 8 hours, which is remarkable. The original factory was located in Newark, New Jersey, but over 50 years ago, they relocated to Hackettstown, New Jersey, to expand their operations, and they continue to be one of the leading producers of M&Ms. And that wraps up today's video on the incredible harvesting processes, from coconuts to sugar, balsa, and dates. Each one showcases the perfect blend of nature's bounty and human ingenuity. If you loved seeing these amazing techniques, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more fascinating content, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload.